I am here to share day one of my 5K Client Accelerator training. And this training is best suited for coaches, consultants, service providers, really. Although, what I teach can be applied to product-based businesses too. Most importantly, what I'm sharing this week obviously has to be implemented, right? You've got to take action, and I'm going to be sharing so many actionable steps and strategies and all the things. So, we're all here for the same reason, right? We want more results, we want more income, we want more impact, we want more freedom. This is why we started this business, right? And this is what I'm here to share with you about as well. And the last time I delivered this training, which was probably it was in June 2021, so it's been a long time coming for me to do an update and a new and revised version, because I've had 50K months and so much more since. I think at that time when I delivered the training, I was sort of around that 35K month mark, or 30K even. So much more has happened in my business since then, right? And I'm going to be bringing in sort of my new lessons and all the things. The more you'll energetically connect with the information that I'm sharing too, right? Rather than passively watching, passively listening. And your brain will also take it in so much more. So I'm going to go deep, and by the end of this week, you'll know exactly how to create and sell a high ticket offer, how to attract these 5K clients, and how to turn them, how to enroll them as clients too, right? So for those of you who are new to my world, my name is Anne Ryan. I'm a business mentor and a money mindset coach. About 15 years ago, my husband and I quit our 9-to-5 jobs with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old in tow, and we started our first business, right? We borrowed $300,000 against our home to start that business, which is an offline business. And that decision resulted in us having a lot of debt. We had a 95% mortgage at a very high interest rate, right? You don't get 95% mortgages at the regular interest rate. It was at a crazy high interest rate, and we knew we had to get it down to under 80%. Otherwise, we were going to struggle for a very, very long time. It was a really stressful time. We put everything on the line, and we could have lost it all, but instead, we built $1 million business in 12 months, right? And have subsequently made almost $50 million in sales from that one business. That's in sales. We didn't take all that money home. If we did, I'd be sitting on a beach in the Bahamas right now. So almost 5 years ago, I started my online coaching business, and Judy was one of the first people that I met back then. I was very, very new to coaching. And at this point, I was already super busy, right? Because we had this other business. I had my kids who were now teenagers. My parents were getting older, and both my parents sadly have some serious disabilities, and I'm their only family, right? So when I started this coaching business, I knew that I had to build business that was sustainable for me and for the life that I had. Otherwise, I knew it wasn't going to work out. With our first business, our primary goal and only goal, quite honestly, was to make money, right? That's really why we started that business. It wasn't for any other reason but to make money. There were a lot of things that we still wanted to achieve in life. Obviously, we wanted to pay off our mortgage. We wanted to do a lot more travel. I wanted to be able to support my parents more. I wanted to help my sister, who's a single mum in the US. And, I wanted to have investments. We both did, my husband and I, and we wanted our money to grow. So we weren't always going to be trading our time, and so much more, right? We had big dreams, we had big desires, we had big goals, and it really was so much more about the money and the lifestyle than anything else. But this coaching business was different, right? It was so much more about me following my purpose, yeah. And I didn't have to do this for the money because we already had a successful business. But what I realized really, really early on in my coaching business was people value what they pay for. And free coaching, sadly, is not effective because people just don't show up for it in the same way as they do when they have skin in the game, right? And that's been a huge lesson for me, and that's why I basically charge, and I continue to keep increasing my price because I value my time too, right? And for full transparency, I want you to know later this week I'll be sharing how you could work with me, but there is a zero obligation for you to do anything that doesn't feel like a full body yes, right? And please know that everything that I share this week is free and will be more than you will receive from most paid offers. I know that's a big call, but I'm going to deliver, right? Because I'm not afraid to lead with generosity and value. I don't hold back. You can check out all the other trainings that I've shared in this Facebook group. Often everything that I share with you guys is exactly what I'm supporting my clients with as well. The difference is here in this sort of environment, on these sorts of trainings, I can only share information, right? Whereas in that coaching environment with my clients, it's a lot more of a feedback loop, and there's the accountability and the support and the mindset shifts and all the other things that happen. Obviously, clearly that's kind of the biggest difference, but I don't hold back when it comes to the knowledge, the expertise, the informations, the lessons that I've learned and all those things. And some of you may be thinking, Anne, I was hooked by your post that shared you've made 250,000 from a small audience. And that's why you're here, right? And just again, for full transparency, this audience here, this group here, is not the small audience I was referring to, right? I have made like 20,000, 30,000 from smaller groups with 20, 30, 50 people as well, right? And I'll be talking more about that during the course of this week. And if you're thinking 5K clients kind of seems a little bit out of your reach, let me know. Let me know, because this is not from a judgment place, but then I will address that a little bit more. If you feel sort of skeptical in your ability to actually attract or work with 5K clients. But if you feel it's doable, then also, drop the word skeptic, right? If you think that high ticket clients, 5K plus clients is tricky, it's difficult, they're not, in your niche or whatever the case might be. If you think it's doable, but you just want some strategies around it, and that's what you're here for, then that's awesome too. Drop a 5K, because then I know it's more about the strategy side of things, the tactics, which I'm going to be also covering during this week. And truly, there's no judgment. It's just about me trying to get a better understanding of exactly where you're at, so I can support you accordingly. And by the end of this week, you will feel very, very, very differently, right? About your pricing, about your worth, and today I'm going to be sharing specifically about why you are in fact worth 10 times more than what you are likely charging. So let me ask you another question. Tell me something you've done that you never thought was possible. Think back to when you were a child. You may have struggled with understanding something at school. You may have struggled with understanding something at work. You may have struggled with understanding something at home. You may have struggled with understanding something at school. You may have struggled with understanding something at work. You may have struggled with understanding something at home. You may have struggled with understanding something at school. You may have struggled with understanding something at work. You may have struggled with understanding something at home. You may have struggled with understanding something at work. You may have struggled with understanding something at home. Or when you were a teenager, you may have thought you'll never kiss a boy or a girl, right? Or maybe when you were older, you may have thought you'll never get your dream job. Or you may never meet your soulmate partner. You might be still looking for your soulmate partner. Or that you may never have kids, right? Tell me something you've done that went against the odds. I'd love to know. I have a lot to share, and I want to make sure I cover some very specific notes, right, that I have got here in front of me. And over the next 3 days, I'll be sharing how to sell 5K plus offers, right? But before we go further, I want you to imagine how it would also feel, right? How would it feel to receive $5,000? Like, imagine it was to happen for you today. Think about it. Sit back, like close your eyes and tap into that feeling. How would it feel if $5,000 client just signed up with you, just like that, just today? Imagine seeing the email or receiving a notification, a ding, you know, a PayPal notification, a Stripe notification. How would it feel? Would your heart be racing? Would you feel like crying? Who would you want to tell? What would you do? Would you be jumping up and down? Or would you just continue to sit on your chair and kind of go, oh yeah, there's another 5,000. How would it feel? It's really, really important, gorgeous ladies, that we can feel these feelings, right? It's really important to be able to visualize and imagine how it would feel to achieve a particular result, right? When you speak to athletes, or you see interviews of athletes and actors and even presidents of a country being interviewed, many of them visualized and saw themselves achieving the result they desired. They saw themselves running through the finish line first. They saw themselves on stage doing an acceptance speech, right? They knew those feelings. They had totally tapped into that energy of having already achieved it, right? And don't worry, there is a lot of tactical and strategic stuff coming. I promise you. But the mindset plays a big part, right? It plays such a big part in all of this. And if we can't tap into these feelings, if we can't believe it's possible for us, if we can't visualize this, then it's going to be so much harder for us to achieve it. Once you can see yourself signing up 5K clients, 20K clients, and then repeating this over and over again is the easy part. The first one is often the hardest, right? But that's the thing. We do the most incredible things that we didn't think we were strong enough to do or we could possibly achieve, right? And this is the thing. We have all achieved things that we never thought that we could, and we've actually taken it for granted and forgotten about how impossible we thought that was, right? Before we achieved it. We've just forgotten. We've forgotten those feelings of, is it ever going to happen? This is never going to happen. Why is it so hard, right? Yeah, and then tapping into these feelings of actually achieving it, it would feel amazing. But what does amazing really feel like? How would our life be different? how would we really feel in our skin? How would we feel? How would our voice sound when we're telling our loved ones about this? Would we tell them? Who would we tell first? Right? The dream, allowing ourselves to dream and to see this and to feel it, the more we can tap into that, the more tangible it becomes, the more real it becomes, and the faster we will achieve it, right? This is not just about, sitting with our legs crossed and meditating and manifesting it all, and we don't have to take action. That's not what it's about, right? Because the action obviously is a really important part of it. And I am going to be talking about the more tactical and strategic stuff as well. But this is the mindset piece that is huge. And when it comes to our mindset, right, and when it comes to pricing, if you think $1,000 is a lot of money, and there will be people on this call who will think that $1,000 is a lot of money, right? It's because you have beliefs from your past, right, that has led to these thoughts. Perhaps your parents kind of instilled it in you that $1,000 is a lot of money, right? And that stuck with you. The truth is, $1,000 is a lot of money for some people, and $1,000 is absolutely nothing for others. Yeah? It's just our belief system. And depending on how ingrained some of these beliefs are, and these stories that we've been carrying with us from our childhood, then there might be some work to do to shift those beliefs, to change those stories, right? In order to make the high ticket sales so much easier as well. It's the mindset work, right? Let me ask you this question. Have you ever jumped in a car and reached your end destination, the place that you plan to go to? Often it's a place that you go to often. Maybe it's the grocery store, or maybe it's the school drop-off or something like that. And you have no idea how you got there, whether you stopped at the traffic lights, whether, you just got there, like on autopilot, because you've done that drive so many times. Has that happened to you? It's happened to me a lot. Too much, in fact. Too much. And that's the thing, right? It's our belief system. We are always looking for evidence around us. Yeah. And what we have to do is to focus on shifting that belief, and take action from that shifted place, rather than from exactly where we are today, where we don't really truly believe that consistent 5K sales is available to us, right? So this is the mindset piece, obviously. I mean, there is the tactical and the strategic piece, the action taking part that also goes hand in hand, right? But we also have to shift our beliefs, because what we focus on becomes our reality, right? And that's how we show up in this world too. That's the expectation that we have every time we show up on social media or in our business and all the things. So this autopilot mode, right, of getting to a destination, and you sort of go, oh gosh, I hope I did all the right things and stopped at the right places, right? The thing is, you did everything because your subconscious mind is actually driving, right? For 95% of the time, our subconscious mind is the one that's running the show in our life. Yeah. And it's the same thing that's happening during that drive as well, right? So our conscious mind is la-di-da-di-da, thinking about the shopping and what we have to do today, and the Facebook Live that's coming up in 30 minutes, and, what dress will I wear, and all the things, but our subconscious mind is actually doing the driving. Now think back, think way, way, way back when you first did that drive. The drive that you do every day, that your subconscious mind just fully steps in and just takes over, and you just go la-di-da and think about what's going on in the rest of the world. Think back to that very first time when you didn't really know where you were going and you had to figure out the journey to get there. Do you think you could have got to that destination solely relying on your subconscious mind without actually concentrating, without focusing on where you were going, without knowing the road, the road map to get there, right? No, because you didn't know the drive and your subconscious mind didn't have anything to tap into, right? So you'd be surprised how wired our minds are with all sorts of things. And sometimes there are thoughts that just don't serve us. You know, thoughts from our past, stories, beliefs from even our present. Yeah. And they just don't serve us. So if we aren't consciously doing something to change these beliefs and to rewire our minds, then nothing changes. We can take all the action in the world, but nothing will change, right? So when it comes to selling to 5K clients, 10K clients on repeat, yeah, or even finding these people, we have to change our thinking around it as well in order to make it easy, right? We have to stop thinking that 5K or $10,000 is a lot of money, right? Or no one will pay that to me. Or I have no idea how to attract those sorts of clients. Or, you know, yeah, I can do it now and then, but I can't do it all the time. Because all around us, even if we haven't yet cracked the code, all around us is evidence that it is possible. So why would it not be possible for you? So telling yourself, I am worthy of receiving 5K clients and I have a lot of value to offer my clients. 5K clients are everywhere. They are all around me, right? I'm a magnet to attracting them, and clearing those beliefs, the negative beliefs, the limiting beliefs, the beliefs that are holding us back, the beliefs that are keeping us exactly where we are today, where we also were a few days ago, and not where we want to be, is the key, right? And I'm a bit of a fan of EFT tapping. I'm not a practitioner of EFT tapping. I'm not here to teach you EFT tapping. There's a whole lot of stuff on YouTube. You can go and check it out for yourself. And I'm a fan of acknowledging all the negative shit that goes on in our head, right? I don't think we can sweep it under the carpet and just, place a positive affirmation on top and kind of go, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire 5,000 times, and we shift into that belief of I'm a millionaire. It doesn't work for me. It might work for some people, but it doesn't work for me, right? So I'm a bit of a fan of EFT tapping, because then you're actually acknowledging how you are feeling and accepting forgiveness, that kind of thing, and shifting through those beliefs, right? So, like I said, I'm not going to spend time on that right now, but the goal is, I guess, for us to shift from it's not available for me, or people won't pay me that, or I can't do that, those really limiting beliefs, to I can figure this out, I'm on my way to getting there, right? Just a better feeling thought, just a more optimistic, we're heading in the right direction feeling, thought and belief, right? because taking action from a more positive feeling thought, perspective and place is going to deliver a much better result than taking action from a place of defeated, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I've been trying for so long, it just hasn't worked for me place. So shifting to even I am becoming, I'm on my way to, I'm learning to, I'm improving every day. And here's the thing, here's the reality, right? Once you've done something once, it gets easier. The only reason why sometimes things don't get easier is because people quit. They kind of go, well, that didn't work, so I'll just go follow the next shiny object. Oh, that didn't work, so I'll go do this. And we spend so much time going sideways rather than moving forwards and mastering and keeping business simple and just tweaking and improving and rinsing and repeating. And this is what I do day in and day out, right? And this is how I am able to do it all. This is how I am able to, I'm less involved in my offline business, I have to be honest, and that's only in the last 12 months. But prior to that, I was very involved in my offline business. Plus I had my coaching business. Plus I had teenage children with, oh my goodness me, every imaginable thing that could happen during their teenage years happened. Plus I had my parents with their disabilities. My mum has Alzheimer's, she's pretty advanced. My dad is blind, and they rely on me. You know, they have no one else. I am it. The buck stops with me. There's no one else to call when they need something. It's me. You know, they've only been in assisted living now for a couple of months this year because they were having a very difficult time themselves, and I was having a difficult time myself. And, you know, and it's the best thing. It's the best thing. But I still take them to appointments almost every single week. Yeah. So through necessity, I've had to figure out how to keep my freaking business simple so I can have it all, so I can continue to serve my clients and do what I love and be available for my parents and be available for my children and still support my husband in the other business and do everything, right? And do everything. And life happens for us. I am such a strong believer in this, yeah. And all of these things have happened. And this was a reflection, actually, I only had yesterday. I was a workaholic. Oh, here we go, a little side tangent story here. I've always been a workaholic, right? I've loved my career, and I was very ambitious and driven and all the things. And I attract these types of women into my world all the time too. You know, action takers, workaholics, and the downside of being that personality type is also a fear of success, right? Because you know you're so driven and you know you want it so bad and you know you have so much going on that you end up fearing success, because then you might even get busier, right? And you might end up actually too busy to do all the other things that you have on your plate. And so what do? You sabotage. Sabotage is my best friend. I know sabotage really, really well, right? I am intimately aware of sabotage. Yeah. And sabotage comes from a huge fear of success. And I attract women just like me. So I learn the lessons and I can help them through it too. Yeah. It's like driving on autopilot, you know? It's like driving on autopilot. You know, we have this one life. We have this one opportunity, and growing old really is a privilege. It is a privilege. Not everyone is guaranteed this, right? Yet we all go through life like we have all the time in the world, and some people are just not taking the action, right? And it's a privilege. It really is a privilege, and I value time more than anything else, right? I have a real thing about time and not wasting it. So anyway, that was a little side tangent. Let me get back to this training. Right. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, because I know it's all about the mindset thing, and we haven't even properly talked about the core of today's training. This gets easier, right? This gets easier, and what I'm sharing is not rocket science, right? If you show up, you do the work on your mindset, you take the strategy and apply the tactical actions, it is not hard. Whether it's 500K, 5,000K, or even 50,000K, there's a buyer at every level. There's a buyer at every level, and if you can demonstrate the value in what it is that you offer, people will buy it. So the value of your offer, right? Why you are worth 10 times more than what you are potentially charging, right? It is really the core thing that I want to get across to you today. But before I do that, I just want to talk about results, because creating an offer that's worth 5K or 10K is the easy part. But how are you going to actually make the sales? That's the thing, right? How do you demonstrate the value? I share so many free trainings here, right? And this is our opportunity on trainings for us to really demonstrate our expertise, our knowledge, and value. The sales conversations, when we're having with people about coming on board, enrolling, working with us, that is not the time for us to actually sell, right? They need to be sold well before then. They've got to be sold well before then. And there have been people who've come into my world, and I've shared about this recently as well, who've gone from not knowing me at all to becoming a client in a matter of hours, and high ticket clients, in a matter of hours and in a matter of days. And I'm talking 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And it's possible to shift people that fast, right? It absolutely is. But the only way we can shift people that fast is if we give them the opportunity to get to know us and like us and trust us fast. Because if we're not being consistent, if we're not showing up consistently, and we're not actually sharing value and taking these people, it's like fire hosing them with value, with information, with generosity, right? Then how are they going to make a decision to actually work with us? I used to be the person who attended lots and lots of free trainings, right? And now I'm the person who just attends on the day where people are selling, because I actually want to see how people are selling. And I really like being sold to, because if you don't like being sold to, and I'm not saying this, by the way, because I'm going to share about my offer on day 3, but if you don't like being sold to, you won't like selling. You won't be able to sell. I don't want to go to free trainings for anything other than to hear how someone actually sells, because I'm fascinated how different people sell. I love learning about how different people sell. That's how I've improved and how I've mastered this myself, by being sold to. Doesn't mean that I buy absolutely everything, but you get the point. We can't shy away from people who are selling because it means we have some resistance to selling ourselves. Yeah, we have fear around it ourselves. I want to know how different people are selling. My current coach, I invested in because I invested $50,000 to work with her. She does not get on sales calls at all. Now, I'm growing my business and I've been getting on sales calls, but if I want to grow my business even more, unless I outsource that component of it, I am going to be the bottleneck again. I would much rather be coaching my clients than getting on sales calls. Yeah. So, of course, I'm interested in learning about that. We've all got these different things that we can master and improve on, right? And sales is just essential. It is absolutely essential. Without sales, you have no business. But sales doesn't have to be icky. It doesn't have to be yucky. It doesn't have to be hard. Sales can actually be as simple as just having a conversation in Messenger often. But you've got to learn to be sold to. You've got to show up for the sales conversation yourself, right? Because if you feel uncomfortable being sold to, then you are going to feel very uncomfortable selling yourself. I'm not selling my offer until later this week, by the way, until day 3. And I'm very transparent and upfront about it. I'll be talking about my offer then, and there's no obligation at all. But I'd recommend show up. Listen to me. I'm not even that great at sales. People just buy from me because they vibe with me. They like my personality, or they like my energy, and they like how generous I am and how I show up. And that's why they end up working with me. Of course, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to make sales. That's not true, because then how do I have an impact? Yeah. So of course I want to make sales, but what I'm encouraging here is get comfortable with being sold to. It does not mean you have to say yes, but show up for it. Learn how to become better at sales. Because if that makes you feel awkward, then it's going to be the struggle point in your business every time. All right, so I am now going to share about why your offer is worth way more than what you're charging. As long as you are solving a high value problem, gorgeous ladies, it doesn't matter what niche you're in, right? There's a monetary value attached to your offer. On other trainings, I've shared, sort of broadly speaking, high value offers fall into the categories of health, relationships, and wealth. Yeah. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail today. If your services help in one of those 3 areas, your offer is often priceless, right? What we have to remember is the value you offer doesn't apply just for the period of time that someone is working with you. It applies for life. So you have to look at the lifetime value of what you offer. I've shared this in other trainings. I'm going to quickly touch on this again. Tony Robbins charges some crazy amount, like $100,000 for 1 hour of one-to-one time with him. Now, I think most of you on this training will know who Tony Robbins is, right? He's brilliant, his mindset, his motivation, he's all the things, his business coach, he's all of the things, right? Often he has like a enormous team. So even when you go to work with him, you're not really working with him, you're working with his team. But to work with him one-to-one, to have a one-to-one session with him, he charges $100,000 for an hour, right? To motivate you. Now, some people will pay it without thinking twice, and others will think, no freaking way in this lifetime will I ever give anyone $100,000 for an hour. But what if, right? What if that 1 hour with Tony Robbins changed the trajectory of your life? What if you felt happier, you had better relationships, you showed up more powerfully in your business, and you made $100,000 sale afterwards? Would it be worth it? What if you doubled it the next year and you made 200,000? And what if you doubled it again and you made 400,000 in year 3? So that's 100,000 plus 200,000 plus 400,000, right? $700,000 in 3 years. Would the initial $100,000 investment be worth it? Return on investment, yeah. What we're talking about is return on investment. And that's assuming that after, that's only $700,000 in 3 years, but what happens beyond that? So let me share an example based on my own business. If I can teach you how to create a $5,000 offer and you just sell one a month for the first year, just one a month, let's say, let's go low, one a month. So that's 5,000 times 12, so that's $60,000 in the first year, right? Let's say in year 2, your confidence grows, you've rinsed and repeated, you know what you're doing, your sales skills have improved, and you sell 2 a month. So that's 120,000 in year 2. And let's say you improve again and you sell 4 a month in year 3. So that's 240,000, right? So 60,000, 120,000, 240,000 in year 3. And let's say you stop business. That's it. You've decided, I'm retiring now. I'm not going to run my business anymore. It's very unlikely, but let's say you do. So the lifetime value of me teaching you how to create and sell a 5K offer is 60 plus 120 plus 240, which is $420,000. So back to you creating a $5,000 offer for yourself, for your business. If you had to put a value on it, what is the annual value of your service to your client? Whether it's life coaching, whether it's business coaching, whether it's weight loss, health coaching, anxiety coaching, any of the things coaching, there is a value attached to the work that we do, right? Sometimes it's trickier to put a price on it as such, but there's a value. There's an impact that happens to the person and the flow-on impact that happens to their friends and family and kids and parents and all the things. So do you know what is the value of your work? What is it worth? Have you thought about this? This is really important to think about. What is the value of your work? And I know, again, that some niches are a little bit trickier, but what is the value of your work? Can you put a price on it? If you're not sure how to work this out, if you can let me know your niche and what it is that you're doing, I might be able to help you. I might be able to give you some tips and ways to think. I have so many clients who have achieved their return on investment in 10 times their return on investment while working with me. Just while working with me, let alone the lifetime. Let alone the fact they could continue to apply the principles for the next 3 years or even 10 years more realistically. Everyone here has got at least 10 years, you'd think, right? Where they could get the benefits of our work and apply it. The work that we do is ongoing. It goes way beyond the 3 months or the whatever period of time you hold space in your container for, right? I have lots of testimonials, right? And you've seen that my amazing client, I'm not working with her right now, but I worked with her earlier on this year. She was already successful, right? In her own right. She was fully booked and she was really kind of maxed out at around that $10,000 mark. And she came to me and she could not understand. She was like, I don't know how you're doing this. This was our first conversation. How can you make $50,000 in a month? I am close to burnout. I am so maxed out at $10,000. So we looked at her strategy, we looked at her offer, we looked at her niche, we looked at all the things and made a few tweaks and changes. And in her first week, we actually changed her niche again. She changed her niche. And within 2 weeks later, she made $25,000. 1 month later, she made an additional, I've forgotten the numbers now. It was either $57,000 or $62,000. And then she had COVID, and then she went on to make $100,000 in 1 month. I can't even tell you how many times she got her return on investment, right? At that particular time, I think the investment to work with me was about $5,500. And I think she ended up with about $190,000 in that time. Tanya went from selling low ticket offers before she started working with me, and she got her return on investment in the first week because she created a $5,500 offer. She sold it in her first week. That paid for me, and then she went on to have her first $30,000 month in 1 month. Riley was selling, these are all testimonials that are inside of this group, right? Was selling mid-ticket offers. She was spinning her wheels. She also had some sort of reasonable success around the 5-10K months is what I think she has openly shared about it. And she has gone on to make 30K months, and in May she had her first 50K month. I can't again even calculate how many X times she got a return on investment. So that's the thing, right? I know you'll be like, oh, it's different in business, it's different with money, it's so much more tangible. But you can make intangible tangible. You've just got to think a little bit differently. This is the thing. We have to understand the value more than our clients understand the value themselves. Because there is an impact. There's an impact to how someone, even in the life coaching space, how they show up in their family, how the flow-on effects to their children, the impact it has in their professional life, their mental health, their relationships with their husband and their friends, and all the things, right? All of these things, in many ways, it's actually priceless. But we have to kind of recognize that our pricing has got to feel like it is an absolute no-brainer, right? They'd be stupid not to invest. I say that nicely. I don't think anyone is stupid, but you know what I'm saying. I know the immense impact and value, but haven't thought about putting a value on it. Yeah, look, it's a worthwhile exercise purely for you to energetically step into knowing it's a no-brainer price. Here's the thing, when you sell high ticket, you can deliver a much high level of service than you can with low ticket. This is not just about putting a high price on something. It is so much more than that. Every time I increase my price, and I increase my price quite frequently, every time I increase my price, I add more to the program. Not necessarily more information, because that's not what it's about. We don't want to kill people with the amount of information that we share. That is not where the value lies. And I'll be talking more about this later in the week. But, I might bring in more one-on-one. I might bring in more support for my clients, right? It's about the difference that we can make, the impact that we can have, so we can fully show up for our clients and feel really, really good about how much we are being energetically compensated through the investment that they've made. and we don't feel resentful for overgiving. Because let's face it, gorgeous ladies, everyone, absolutely everyone in my circle, if you love me, if you care for me, you are like me, we are overgivers. We can't help ourselves. We have big hearts. We can't help ourselves, right? So we have to charge appropriately to make it a win-win for everyone, because otherwise we just get resentful. I was going to talk about, are you clear on your vision and your why and all those things? Because guys, I know this is basics. I know this seems like coaching 101, right? But this is really, really a good thing for you to, again, reset on, to get really, really clear on. Do you know the number one reason why you haven't yet achieved your goals in your business? What I've learned is that 80% of the reason why women don't achieve their goals is because of their mindset. Some of us don't even set goals. We don't even set goals because we don't want to be disappointed. And we don't tap into our why. Why the heck are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why? Why bother? I mean, like, why? Why do you want to enroll a high ticket client? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to meet the love of your life? If your why isn't strong enough, you won't achieve it. I mean, we talked about earlier the high achiever mentality that some of us have. Most of us probably have. High achievers come with that kind of workaholic thing too. And it comes with that sort of, overgiving too. And now, if we don't have a really good why, we will continue to sabotage, because why the heck would we want to be busier? Why? Because we know we're going to end up overgiving. Why would we sign up more clients? Once you have your why, you have to ask yourself and really be clear on who you have to become. Because we have to shift our identity of who we have to become. And this is the work I'm doing with my coach right now in July, right? Because my goal is to have a 7-figure business, but my identity is not yet where it needs to be in order to have that 7-figure business. I am being so open here, right? Don't put me on a pedestal just because I've figured out how to earn $250,000 in my business, right? That was easy. I am with you. We are all in this together, right? I might be a few steps ahead in some things and a few steps to the side on others. The mindset work is ongoing. I just discovered that I have a fear of success because I've always had a fear of success, right? Because I associated success with burnout. I associated success with not having time for my children and my parents. I associated success with, hustling and having to work harder and all the things. Yeah. So now I've figured out how to run my business a lot more simpler, right? But I still sabotage myself in different ways. So it's not a time issue for me, but I still find ways to sabotage myself, because my thing now is that when you have $1 million business, you have haters, right? I don't have haters. Nobody hates me. I'm the underdog, right? People love the underdog. But when you're too successful, you get haters. Why the heck would I want to be too successful if people are going to hate me? And that's the identity shift that I'm working on, that it is safe. It is safe in my coaching business, on social media, for me to be successful, still be loved, and I will cope with the haters. The work, gorgeous ladies, is there. It's ongoing, right? I have far from figured it all out, but I've figured out enough that I can also support and help my clients get incredible results when they let me. If you don't have the outcome that you want, then something has to change. Do you agree? You can't keep doing what we've always done and expect a different result. Whether it's weight loss, whether it's love, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, whatever it is. We have to be really, really clear on what it is that we want, why we want it, and then we have to work on all these blocks and barriers and bullshit that comes up for us all. And we have our own blind spots. The best mindset coaches have their own blind spots. That's why I continue to invest in myself. I figured out how to make $50 million out of a business, and I continue to invest in myself. I figured out how to make $250,000 working seriously 2 to 4 hours a day, but I still continue to invest in myself. So if you have a clear vision and a goal, but you don't yet have that desired outcome, then something is missing, right? It's the motivation or the action. Your clear vision is your goal. Your strong why is your motivation. That's what keeps you that's what keeps your eye on the prize. If you don't have a strong why, it's hard. It's hard. This is evolution and growth, right? This is ongoing, and I am going to be sharing how to shine a spotlight on what makes you different so you can attract these 5K clients. Being the same as every other coach out there is not the answer. I'll give you a big hint. Vanilla is not the solution, right? We have to be different. We can be same, but different. We've got to, not everybody is going to love what we have to say, and that's okay. The more we try, and this is a problem for me, as I've openly shared with you, the more we try to be loved by everyone, the more we will blend, and the less likely we are to achieve what we really truly desire, because we're not going to stand out. We're going to sound just like everybody else does, right? So being different is what that's going to bring in the sales. And on day 3, we're going to be looking at how to create that offer and also how to make the sales. And yeah, so make sure you show up every day if you can. There will be replays available as well. I have a lot more value to offer. So my homework for you, if you're open to this, is to share your biggest takeaway and also get really, really clear on your why. I know you've probably done this work before, right? But I would hazard a guess that if you haven't yet got to where you'd love to be in your business, there's something missing in your why. You haven't fully tapped into it. That is all from me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. It's been so awesome to hang out with you amazing women. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and I look forward to connecting with you then. Thanks, guys. Bye.